Alrighty. I'm doing this a little bit differently pertaining to making videos, but through this, I'm going to be reading Genesis chapter 15. I hope you guys like it. Okay. And currently it is February 12th, 2026, and it is 17:15. Alrighty. Genesis chapter 15. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he shall come forth out of thine own bowels. Verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old. I'm going to reread that. And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old. And she got, verse 9. And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each beast one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation, whom they shall serve, I will judge. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the verse 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass, that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river. Verse 18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river. From the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Rephaims. Verse 20. Verse 19 actually. The Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. Genesis chapter 15. So, that was Genesis chapter 15, and it felt very different. And with this, there's a lot of play of dreams inside here that I see from this, and it gets me to think about how many different dreams we have, right? Every single night, or every single week, right? We may have a dream, but not often is it that I think, oh man, this is the Lord speaking to me. So, with this, it's like, when Abram asks how he would know, God gave him instruction. And he followed instruction. And God gave him a dream. It says here in verse 8, And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And the Lord said, as verse 9, and he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And verse 10 saying how he did all of them, but leaving the two birds undivided, and how he drove away the fowls of the air. And on verse 12, how Abram fell asleep and fell into great darkness. How great darkness fell upon him. And it's a lot to cover, so it's a whole lot of different things. But I don't really have the knowledge to understand it right now. But it's cool that I see it, though. Yeah. Alrighty. Ending me here. That was the end of Genesis chapter 15. I wonder, what do you guys have that you guys thought about? And if you want to share, then share in the comments. Other than that, that is all from me. I'll catch you guys later. God bless you all. Adios.